8:16 p.m. Monday, February 11th, 2019, episode number 702 of UhhYeahDude. My name is Jonathan. This is Seth. Hello, Seth. Pardon me while I take a swig off mic, I mean.
If you will. Jonathan, this is Seth. This is episode 702 of UhhYeahDude, America Through the Eyes of Two American Americans. I'm sitting down right now.
This is a sit down.
Because we are going to do
This is a Seth's
a themed episode.
Sitting themed episode.
Thought it, why not? We've gotten some positive feedback on some of our other themed episodes. So figured as we embark here, why not kick off this 702 party? We like to dip into the animal kingdom. We're all animals, are we not?
I don't know.
At heart, or are we? Or are we not?
I'm not sure.
Thought we are.
They say they are, but I think that's pseudoscience.
It's not real.
We don't look like animals, do we?
There are animals that we kind of
resemble,
possibly.
Yeah, but you could say that about a lot of things. You could say that there's trees that we resemble too.
Is there trees that we look like? Looks like a ficus. The arms. See. So I'm gonna start in and just have some.
So this is,
I guess, stories about animals.
But is this going to bring up conflict for me? Tales of woe and animal abuse and death?
No.
Suffering?
No. So one of them is suffering. Should I just throw that one out?
No.
Let's start with that.
Let's start with it.
Well, I want to go in order. I'm going to take you back to September of 2017. Caltrans is proposing to build a wildlife crossing across U.S. Route 101 just west of Liberty Canyon in the city of Agora Hills in L.A. County. The purpose is to help maintain wildlife populations that travel between the Santa Monica Mountains and Simi Hills and ultimately to the Sierra Madre mountain range. The linkage has been identified in numerous county, city, and regional plans and publications as a critically important connection for wildlife. Such wildlife crossings have been built and used successfully in other states and in other countries. The Liberty Canyon Wildlife Crossing will be the first of its kind in California. The purposes of the proposed project is to provide a safe and sustainable wildlife passage across the freeway. The crossing would help reduce wildlife mortality, ease their movement across habitats, and allow for the exchange of genetic material. In particular, large mammals such as mountain lions and bobcats, they need these connected habitats in order to hunt, breed, and thrive. The 101 divides previously contiguous ecosystems into isolated habitats. For mountain lions, this has resulted in inbreeding, territorial fighting, and a decrease in genetic diversity. Without this addition, the ecological and environmental impacts on wildlife that resulted from the original construction of the 101 will persist. The proposed project would also help mitigate anticipated future effects of climate change on the current distributions of species across habitats.
So that's not one about suffering of animals. Just let me clarify.
Oh, that's not. Well, it's about, it's a positive.
But you also are telling me this in what year was this article?
Oh, yes, 1977.
No.
This is September of 2017.
So you don't
build that shit.
Well, we don't. Have you looked at? Have you checked in?
They haven't.
So
they haven't even started.
So,
why don't they just?
So this is a story of non-animal suffering that you've
by
told
bringing
me.
attention to this. Maybe one of these motherfucking billionaires will come in and be like, "I love fucking animals. I'm all about bobcats.
I love to fuck animals.
Mountain lions are my jam. I'm a mountain lion, spirit animal. What do you need? Let me write the check." You put the crossing over, and then it allows. You're talking about. How do you get from here to here? You can't fucking cross the 101. This ain't Frogger. Build the fucking thing. That was a long time ago, though.
I can't believe there's not one of those in existence in all of California with all the wildlife that we have.
And all the stupid freeways we have. Oh, put a freeway right through here. Right through there? Well, then that's gonna not connect to that. We've seen what happened. We've seen these mountain lions. We're tracking them with Nat Geo.
Any update that you did prior to this episode?
Yes, we are not that far along. A lot of talk. Spitballing. How come everything we talk about on the show, it's just people spitballing? I'm just going to throw it up against the fridge, see if it sticks. You don't want to do anything about it? Oh, we're going to talk about it. How long are you going to talk about it? Until somebody writes the check. When are they writing the check? No one's done it yet.
Well, but also aren't they not allowed to couldn't it somehow if somebody was just yeah, I'll just pay for it because I'm like rich and I love to fuck mountain lions. It's like they can't even like. There's probably like rules they like can't accept that. Like that's
you fuck mountain lions on your own time in your own house. You keep your genetic diversity up in the Hollywood Hills in your crib. Yeah, you're right. So even if somebody came along,
I'm gonna hate this episode.
Damn it! Yeah, this one.
They're all gonna be bad. You just don't care about animals as much as I do, so you don't see the pain in their stories. Besides Ms.
Is that true? The Los Angeles Zoo is euthanized. It's
This is the worst show. This
is from December of 2017. We've made a lot of strides, I bet, since then. The Los Angeles Zoo. See, you don't hear about this though. Why didn't you know about this? Why did
because I like unsubscribe to this shit so that I don't have to.
The LA Zoo euthanization website. Unsubscribe. The Los Angeles Zoo has euthanized its herd of Nubian ibex after determining the goats were infected with a highly contagious and incurable strain of herpes. The zoo discovered the virus after 6 African antelope fell ill and died in October of malignant catarrhal fever.
Great.
The zoo's Nubian ibex, typically found in the mountains of the Middle East, very similar to Griffith Park, right?
Oh, yeah, much similar climes.
Similar climb, the mountains of the Middle East, Hollywood,
Burbank Studios.
were identified as a source of the disease, which develops from a herpes virus carried asymptomatically, which means without symptoms. The entire herd, 7 goats, were euthanized in what the zoo has called a difficult yet responsible decision to protect the other animals at the facility. The Nubian ibex could not be sent to any other facility housing hoofed animals, as those animals would contract this disease and die. It would have been irresponsible to send the Nubian ibex to another facility. Well, that's true. The entire process from symptoms to death is very rapid. Well, that's good. That's
nice.
Positive.
I think this is the same zoo that also didn't they bought an elephant and put it with other elephants who wouldn't hang out with it, and it died of depression after months of people saying this animal's gonna die of depression, and they're like, shut up, and then it did.
The elephant hung itself. How? Well,
with its own trunk.
Very smart. The disease, usually found in underdeveloped nations, is rarely seen in the United States, says Jennifer Langen, a clinical professor of zoological medicine at the University of Illinois. When it does strike zoos or farms, euthanizing host animals is really the only option. So,
plus it's fun.
Oh, they love it. Oh, Nubian ibex?
Plus we get a kick out of it.
Oh, how many of them? 7?
All right.
So, okay, that's bad.
Herpes kills animals.
But why does the zoo keep that shit under wraps?
Well, because, again,
you can't sell tickets. How are you going to explain to kids? Well, kids, let me explain to you.
Here's the deal.
Kids. Okay. Mommy and daddy, how do we explain that? You know how sometimes daddy has that
that sore on the
thing you always
dick?
You know that gonna go flip.
You know that sore on daddy's dick that he
see when he goes pee-pee? Let me explain to you about the 80s. Yeah, you can't really tell kids about Dead Nubian Ibex. My band.
Oh, man.
My fucking art fucking noise collective, Dead Nubian Ibex. Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, for your sonic pleasure.
A lot of people think of him as just like an experimental art rock band, but
it depends on how you
have to get.
Where did you see them first?
What era did you get?
What era did you get into them?
Okay.
All right.
So.
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
No. You know
Here's
why?
A story of triumph.
Because those were both 2017. Boo.
Bad animal year.
Bad year. 2018. March. It looks like a fish. It swims like a fish. But it isn't a fish. So what is it? It's SoFi, the robotic fish. Developed by researchers at MIT, SoFi is a soft-bodied robot that glides silently through the water with a smooth, undulating motion.
Wouldn't it be Sophie, like fish? F-I? Sophie? Sophie? Okay. Sophie.
undulates. Just wanted to say that again. The undulating motion designed to mimic the movements of real fish.
So fit.
It's the first robotic fish to contend with the currents and pressures of an actual ocean setting for an extended period of time. In a study published in the journal Science Robotics, the authors describe how nimbly it can navigate a coral reef off of Fiji in 3 dimensions, swimming up, down, left, right, and forward, all at the behest of a diver armed with what looks like a Nintendo controller. The authors also report that the robot can handle water depths of up to 60 feet, and it appears to swim alongside real fish without spooking them. Right? I guess?
So I guess what, in order to do for observational science? You're not just trying to trick fish for no reason.
Just to spy on them, get the tea. Oh, you hear what they said?
Get all that juicy G.
How'd you know? Well, we sent Sophie in with a Mike.
Mike the diver.
Mike did.
Sophie.
For us, this fish is magical, said Daniela Roos, director of the Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory at MIT, who led this work. We imagine someday it might help us uncover more mysteries from the amazing underwater world that we know so little about. We don't know anything about what's going on down there.
True, and it's also
under the
like
sea.
We're destroying it and we know nothing about it.
You know, the best way if you don't know anything about it is to destroy it.
Yeah.
And then what do you really need to know?
You know what do you call a fish with no eye?
What do you call a fish with no eye? What?
Fish.
One more time?
Fish.
Okay. This robot is fairly small. It's about 1.5 feet long, weighs 3.5 pounds. A hydraulic pump moves water in its soft rubber tail from side to side, allowing it to swim in a fish-like motion. Electronics, including a Linux PC, along with a fisheye lens, wanky wanky, are stored in the robot's head. It runs off a small battery similar to what you would find in your smartphone. In its current iteration, it can swim for about 40 minutes at a time. So it's like a fucking Beastie Boys video when you fucking down there, like, this is fucking weird. Like, this is gnarly rips, dog. Is this skate vid? Or are we doing research here? I mean, fuck, man. Many of the parts are 3D printed, making it relatively easy and inexpensive to produce. The design could easily be scaled up or down, but if it were bigger, it would be harder for a diver to get it into and out of the water. And if it were smaller, it would struggle against currents. Building a robot that can function underwater comes with unique challenges. Its electronics need to be housed in watertight compartments that are able to withstand large changes in pressure as the robot moves up and down in the water column. In addition, it needs to have adjustable buoyancy so that it can swim at different depths without floating off to the surface or sinking to the seafloor. Well, that's exciting. Get down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably quite a feat to create something that basically...
MIT.
It's real stuff.
And do that
Feels like something maybe in our sort of dumb brains that's like, well, that should already be able to be done, but it's like, no, it's actually like so much difficult.
Yeah, well, they
so
make
many
a fucking fish robot.
Yeah, like,
name it Sophie and send it down there. They did. Cool. I would have done it if I didn't know that they had done it. So it's getting down there. It's getting in there.
I think it's for observational research and
juicy G.
And getting G from the backside of the reef.
And that's mostly what most things are for, if you think about it. Everything has a purpose,
Gathering
data and
gossip and or
tea is being spilled and maybe doing something good. I don't know. April 2018, again, 2018, great year for animals. This is a great story about a canine, a hero. I can get you behind that, right?
Shot dead, saving the life.
Shot between its eyes. In 2014, Indiana firefighter Todd Jordan got a call from a distraught couple with a young dog. The couple's nearly 2-year-old black lab Connor was jumping up on countertops and eating all their food, and he wouldn't stop. The woman said, "I love this dog. It's just too out of control for us." He was used to getting these types of calls, having rescued multiple unwanted pups from the pound in order to train them to sniff out accelerants involved with arson. The woman asked if Jordan wanted a new dog for that purpose. Jordan had another idea. A few months earlier, he'd been talking to friends on the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force who told him they were often frustrated when serving warrants on child pornography charges. The officers said they sometimes missed thumb drives and micro SD cards, storage devices the size of a fingernail, that had been sometimes are hidden in cracks or in cracks in walls. They asked if Jordan might be able to train a dog to be able to sniff these out. He could do anything. So Jordan decided to give it a shot. He adopted the black lab, renamed him Bear, after Pedo Bear, a meme that originated on 4chan, but became known as a shorthand for child molestation. That's a little bit much. This is Chester, my dog. Chester's
Chester
the molester.
He's a shepherd mix.
He's a beautiful, beautiful animal. So he's now Bear.
This is Friedman from Capturing the Friedman.
You familiar with
he's
that?
He's a husky.
Yes. We call him Nambla. I think you know why. Come here, Nambla.
That's kind of crazy.
It's insane. Then Jordan started training Bear in his own house. Well, how?
Well,
why?
because he had...
Yeah. Oh, I got this unlocked. Don't worry. You can train him at my crib. Today, Bear may be the most famous electronic storage device detection dog in the country. He used his nose to find child pornography inside the home of Jared Fogle, the former Subway spokesperson.
This is like so crazy.
Now Bear works. He's exclusively...
Jared's family is a hit out on Pedo Bear, the dog.
Fucking, maybe he was hired by Quiznos. Go get him, Bear. Bear works exclusively with the Seattle Police Department right now. They got him under contract. Where he continues to conduct searches for thumb drives and SD cards on local citywide warrants.
This is like
you
so
find
sick.
out Bear's coming, you are fucked.
Like, God damn it.
Electronic sniffing dogs are a relatively new phenomenon.
I'm sure.
Mark Linhart, a canine trainer and former Connecticut state trooper who worked with the first electronic sniffers in the country, says he was skeptical that dogs would be able to imprint on something as small as a micro SD card. But after teaming up with the chemist, Dr. Jack Hubble, in 2011, Linhart discovered that electronic storage devices did carry their own unique sense and that dogs could detect them. Fucking dogs, man.
So amazing.
So crazy. Dogs that are hyper and primarily motivated by food make particularly good electronic sniffers. Dogs have more olfactory receptors than humans, and a bigger portion of their brain is built for processing those intakes. When we evaluate a dog, we're looking for a dog that obviously fucking hates pedophiles.
First and
foremost. I mean, that's like first and foremost. It has to obviously have a high food drive. It will basically put himself in harm's way to get food. You're talking about some hungry fucking dogs. Dogs will fall off a building if you took a treat off the side of a building. It would just bye. All they want. They lost a lot of dogs in the process, but the ones that made it. If the dog doesn't have this internal reward system, it's very hard. When you have a dog that's ready to rock, you know it. After reading the anecdotal success in Connecticut, Jordan did some experimenting of his own. He was no chemist, but he did know dogs. In order to simulate an official search, he started messing up corners of his garage and hiding USB drives under piles of junk for Bear to find. Bear was a natural. After some months of training, Bear and Jordan started to accompany detectives on warrant searches where Bear would find thumb drives that human researchers would miss. But Bear and Jordan's biggest test came in the summer of 2015 when detectives called up Jordan one night and told him to meet them with Bear in a church parking lot early the next morning. When Jordan got to the parking lot, he says what he calls law enforcement alphabet soup, the FBI, local agencies, the U.S. Postal Service, all strapping on bulletproof vests. He didn't know it at the time, what the search warrant, where they were going to, but soon after, it would be delivered to the home of Jared Fogle. Bear. One of the greats.
Wild. Electronic sniffing.
I mean, peds running for their life. It's bear! I mean, fuck. We could do a whole new To Catch a Predator. Just knock on a random door. Hello, we have a search warrant. Why? Because bear.
Just let bear in.
Gonna get a hit every fucking 20 houses.
Every 20 houses, huh?
In some neighborhoods.
Child pornography in every 20 houses in this neighborhood.
Some neighborhoods. Bear?
Bear's going to be very full.
Bear, get to
at
work.
the end of today.
What's your food drive?
How's your food drive? What's your reward system like?
It's fucking amazing. May 2018. When female birds have chicks as the result of an extramarital fling, the fathers are almost always older males, and scientists are finding out why. Admit that? Many birds, particularly songbirds like sparrows, form social pair bonds. They usually stick with one partner for life to raise chicks, but may have affairs that result in illegitimate sparrow children. Bastard sparrows. From previous studies, it is known that older males are more likely to sire these illegitimate children, but exactly why has remained a mystery. This is some research. That's requires so much sort of like watching, you know? Because even like busting like humans in the mix, it requires a little bit of paying attention. I suppose with some pair bonds that you'd really have to be like hawk-eyed. Now, a team of researchers have studied the behavior of a captive population, of sparrows at a park campus to find out why older males are so successful. The results are published in the current issue, I guess that would be in May of 2018, of Scientific Reports. They tested two possibilities. That older males are better at conceiving females, they're better at coercing females into extra pair affairs. That's the male manipulation hypothesis. Or that females solicit more sex from older males than from younger males, the female choice hypothesis. The team observed more than 450 mating attempts by males and found that older males did not try to make females cheat any more often than younger males, casting doubt on the male manipulation hypothesis. And what would that the older the male, the
craftier?
He just has or
craftier.
In the female hypothesis, females solicit more sex from older males than from younger males. They're preferring older sparrows to the younger sparrows when they're having these the side pieces, side sparrow pieces.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, they found that successful affairs were more often solicited by females, suggesting that they are the ones to choose when and who to cheat with.
Yeah.
However, the females did not choose older males more often than younger males, suggesting the female choice hypothesis may not be correct either. The lead author of the study said there's a difference between what we observe and what the outcome is. We didn't observe older males cheating more often than younger males, but they do father more offspring. This suggests there is another factor at work, such as older males having more competitive sperm. What is that? Because it's older, it's like, oh, gotta work, it's gonna be it. Okay. The researchers suggest that post-copulation mechanisms might be driving the older male's success. An element of female choice might still be a factor, as female sparrows can store sperm internally for some weeks and may decide which sperm to use for fertilization.
What?
Well, you got to store it.
You can store multiple sperms and decide from multiple partners and then decide, I want to use this one.
Wait a minute. An element can store sperm. It just says can store sperm internally. Does that just mean, could that just mean from one partner, or do you think that means from...
Keep reading. Okay.
May decide which sperm, I guess you're right, to use for fertilization. Although the authors admit this is very hard to study. Yeah, how do you study that? Well, you got to make a new kind of a Sophie, but you got to make it, what's a bird? What's bird? Sobe. You make a Sobe, and you got to get that. How the fuck are you going to do that?
An older Sobe.
This is impossible.
A little of it older.
This team studies sparrows to investigate the evolution of monogamy in animals and the behavioral and biological factors that drive it. Sparrows are socially monogamous, but sexually promiscuous, staying with one partner for the security of raising. Wait a minute, like we said earlier.
This is like people
staying with one partner for the security of raising the child. Chick. But with the males not necessarily raising their own chicks. We found that there is likely to be a biological effect rather than a behavioral effect for why older males are more successful at siring illegitimate children.
So older sparrows' sperm works better.
It has been thought that females might choose older males as they are more genetically fit, but our research has cast some doubt on this.
So they have nothing other than they know that
all they've been doing is watching fucking sparrows cheat on each other.
And they don't have any answers.
That's their jam. That's a juicy job. All day you watch sparrows fuck, but not just fuck. If you were watching couples fuck, that'd be
like
cool.
This is boring.
But it'd be cool. But if you're watching them like cheat, hiding behind trees, fucking,
sneaking,
looking in other nests,
dropping things out of nests.
Trying to keep track of who is fucking who. That's a good job.
Stashing sperm.
Gets crazy though when you got to determine of all that sperm, that's when it gets so difficult.
Cupboards full of it.
There was she fucked 9 older sparrows, and so I don't know.
Who do you think she's gonna pick?
I like him.
It could be like a TV show. It's like The Bachelor.
Oh, it's
like all of us watching.
All of us watching together and studying
as a nation.
The birds ain't going to watch themselves. I've told you this before. Football's over. It's time to get out.
Yeah.
It's time to start watching. Interesting. Animals. Interesting.
Socially monogamous. Biologically promiscuous. What is it?
Like,
socially.
Dude.
UhhYeahDude. Socially monogamous.
Let me find that. Socially monogamous. Sexually promiscuous. 2006 for life. That's sparrows don't play. They do play, but
they play a lot.
Oh God! I wonder what the kids think when if they find out. Mom,
is Dad my dad?
Now this old guy
so
that old
comes by in the afternoon.
The one that barely can flutter in because he's so old. Mark-ass Buster Sparrow.
Is that
my father?
Is that my real dad?
Fucked up, yo. He doesn't look anything like me. I can tell you that right now. That's some shit.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
November 2018. Baylor researchers were able to reconstruct it's Baleen whales. Is it Baleen? Baleen?
What?
Baleen. Baleen whales lifetime stress response to whaling and other man-made and environmental factors spanning nearly 150 years. Using a technique they pioneered 6 years ago, these professors analyzed earplug laminae, a growth layer representing 6 months found in whale earwax. Okay, so they studied that. Got a gigantic Q-tip. They got this baleen whales earplug.
Ear canal, but plug. They got the wax out of it.
Okay.
Right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. This is part of the recent study they published in Nature Communications. Using earplugs taken from fin, humpback, and blue whales originating in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans from 1870 to 2016. So they got the whales. Is that it? They harness. They recover, if you will. I guess the interns do that? Who does that? The researchers were able to determine the whales' cortisol levels, a stress response hormone. They were able to determine the whales' levels to industrial whaling
You can't tell me that this is going to be a good story. This can't be a positive one either.
Well, I guess it's...
You lied to me when this show started.
Hold on. World War II wartime... Okay, yeah, this is bad. I guess they're...
The same levels as they were when they were like bombing with submarines and shit,
World War II wartime activities and... Okay. They were able to determine the whale's cortisol levels to industrial whaling, World War II wartime activities, and sea surface temperature. This is the first ever study to quantify temporal stress patterns in baleen whales. While the generated stress profile spans nearly 150 years, we show that these whales experience survivor stress, meaning the exposure to the indirect effects of whaling, including ship noise, ship proximity, and constant harassment, resulted in elevated stress hormones in whales spanning vast distances. Whaling moratoriums were established in the 70s, and so that's where the cortisone levels
start to drop off. Except
they're
going to spike again because, like, fucking...
Yeah, I mean, when you're like...
With China and Japan or whatever...
You're knocking Mountain Dew amped fucking bottles out of the way.
No, that whaling's going to be... Somebody's, like, going against the moratorium on it. What is it?
A country?
Yeah.
I'm sure. So, yeah, I guess that's not a good one. But I guess we knew that whales were stressed because they don't want people up in their fucking business where they kick it. No one would want that. But that's a pretty insane way to...
The government of Japan announced the country's departure from the International Whaling Commission in December of 2018.
Okay, so they're back in the mix.
Oh, but they're saying the treaty may actually help save the whales?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That doesn't make any sense.
See, that's positive.
Its departure from the International Whaling Commission in December, along with its intention to resume commercial whaling.
That's not good.
Which the IWC has forbidden since 1986.
And is that to eat? People eat whales? Or what's that for?
Yeah.
I mean, people would love that. Fucking whale sandwich? Oh, my God. You kidding me? People would fucking love that shit.
I can't even. This is... I thought I was right about this, but they are going to whale within their own country. They have left the International Whaling Commission.
It doesn't sound good.
Conservationists are mad, but then people are saying maybe it's good because they just kept whaling.
They just say that.
But they put painted research like on the ships in order to be like, we're doing
earwax. Don't worry. We're taking wax. We're checking wax. Get bounce. Ugh. That was me like throwing some sort of a harpoon. Is that what they do?
Anyway.
People love that shit, man.
Yeah. Bold capital letters, signs along their hulls, and crew members were sometimes photographed holding signs with statements that said, "We're just collecting tissue samples."
Scientists.
Next to whale carcasses. Dog.
Smoking cigarettes.
I mean, if you're going to do this to me, I'm just going to do it to you. I'm just going to go fully just into like the least funny show of all time.
Well, people want that. They want to eat whale. You know?
Do they?
I think if they could. Right? I mean, if they could eat it, they would eat it.
I mean, I guess people eat everything.
I don't know, you can't eat it. Or can you?
I mean, but also the thing is, like, no, you can get it there. It's just you can get popped, but it's like it gets served there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if it was
you can get it here.
If it was at McDonald's, people would get it. Would not get it. You know? Oh, they got whale? Damn. Oh, filet of fish is whale now? Fuck yeah.
Filet of whale.
Filet of whale?
Oh, filet of whale.
It'd be a cute little fucking whale I get on a t-shirt. Whale's back at McDonald's, baby. I'm fucking loving it.
Willie the whale.
Fucking Willie the whale? Oh, put some tartar on that? Put that in my Happy Meal. Your little toys, a little harpoon, little fucking boop. Cigarette and a harpoon. Boop, boop. I'm a doctor. A little fucking lab coat. I'm a scientist. Don't worry about it.
We're just collecting tissue samples.
Q-tips and fucking harpoons.
15 tons of tissue samples.
December 2018, a UMass Boston professor and his colleagues have published new research showing that feeding on human junk food, I guess this one's not good.
Dog.
But we need to know about these things. Feeding on human junk food may be altering the course of evolution in Darwin's finches. Assistant Professor of Evolutionary Biology, Louis de Leon, says feeding on human foods is weakening natural selection on ground finch beaks, which is what drives the formation of new species in the wild. I mean, that would make fucking sense. If forever you only ate food, I guess, in the
worms
wild.
and seeds.
Just natural food.
And now you're eating like Jolly Rancher wrappers?
Yeah, or just Jolly Ranchers. I really prefer raspberry.
What do you like?
What's
that?
your favorite
you
flavor?
Want this one? I don't care about this one.
Hey, Finch friend, what are you into? I like watermelon. I guess, yeah, that would change things. These findings, published in the journal Evolutionary Applications, suggest that the seemingly harmless activity of feeding birds Jolly Ranchers might be altering the course of evolution in the iconic Darwin's finches in the Galapagos Islands. You can't feed fucking things in the wild, can you?
You're not supposed to.
But people do?
Yeah. I mean, there's like a bear epidemic down in this town up in this town near Big Bear, and it's like a little retirement community, all these like cute little like A-frame cabins, and there's been like several bear incidents and attacks, and it's because it's like a rental, it's like very popular rental area, so it's like people just, rent it, Airbnb it for like a weekend.
So people
and
just
they fucking just
like
feed the fucking bears, and they're like, look, a fucking bear, and so they feed it,
shit.
and then the bears start coming, and then the locals are like, why are there bears everywhere? And it's like, well, because all these like city slickers come in and just like drop Big Macs so they can like lay eyes on a fucking.
Do you know how many fucking Pringles flavors? Like Charlie's chicken Pringles flavors.
Have you ever had this marinara? Mozzarella
put this
sticks?
and this, and the bear loves it. Yeah. I mean, why do the bears get deprived of that shit? Galapagos finches are famed for being an inspiration behind Charles Darwin's pioneering work on evolution. They're an example of adaptive radiation, an evolutionary process that produces new species from a single rapidly diversifying lineage. Their common ancestor arrived in the Galapagos about 2 million years ago, and since then Darwin's finches have evolved into more than a dozen recognized species differing in body size, beak shape, and feeding behavior. Now we have like fucking psycho Cheeto beaks.
Yeah,
like,
they all
Cheeto beak! Like fucking extreme finches. Fuck, man. That's crazy. I'm the Kit Kat finch. Fuck off. I mean, man. I guess if you were just eating, I guess worms, what are they? Probably basic. Simple foods,
insects,
organic,
small,
natural foods.
All insects.
And if you bring in, Halo Top and just like, hey, it's high in protein, Finch, give it a shot.
It's sleep ice cream.
You must be up. You're up all night. So fucking loud outside. Have some of this sleep ice cream.
Yeah.
That's going to change shit. Maybe for the better, though. Powerful. Finches with mad gains?
Yeah.
You never thought about that, did you, Darwin? You didn't have
finch.
protein bars, did you then, Darwin? These are things you got to think about.
I don't... Yeah. I guess,
You don't feed the animals. I thought you teach that. Didn't Mr. Rogers teach us that or say you don't feed the fucking animals?
I don't know.
He didn't do
I
that?
don't remember Mr. Rogers ever saying, don't feed the fucking
I watched
animals.
that documentary. I thought he said that in it.
Did he?
I thought he said. He didn't, but he should have. He could have. He probably did at some point. You don't feed the fucking animals.
You're not supposed to, I guess, because it throws things out of whack. It's out of whack for a lot of reasons. Because they come back, and then that can be dangerous because they stop being able to fend for themselves, so then they are susceptible to other things out in the wild. They trust other humans, believing that those humans will give them food where they actually mean them harm.
And they can't eat anything without ranch. The finches are just like,
what the fuck is
what
this?
the fuck is this? This shit better get covered in ranch.
This don't have garlic dipping sauce with it. Why the fuck is...
So let me get this straight. There's no fucking basil aioli, and I'm just going to eat this because I'm a finch, because I live outside. All right. So that's how we do. That's how we do. This is from this very year, 2019. So we started in September of 2017. We're going to bring it right into February of 2019. A male mouse identifies the sex of an unfamiliar mouse because of hardwired brain physiology, not previous experience. Stanford University School of Medicine investigators have found. Female mice also quickly determine a stranger's sexual identity, but the circuitry in their brains that guides those decisions remains to be located. What does that mean? They don't know. Remains to be located?
Yeah, they know that it happens in the brain, but
remains to be seen? Is that what they mean?
No, they have not located where in the brain that occurs.
Surprisingly, recognition of a stranger's sexual identity works completely differently in male mice and female mice.
Okay.
Said the PhD professor of psychiatry. The findings described were published in the journal Cell. They add to a small but growing list of mammalian brain circuits known to work differently in males and females. They inform a long-standing debate about the relative contributions of inherently hardwired predispositions versus socially acquired influences in molding sex-specific behaviors. That was a lot.
Good night, everybody.
That is a lot.
Go to our Patreon page.
The senior author, these authors said, our findings show that males, at least, do not need prior sexual experience in order to make fast, reliable decisions about closely approaching strangers. That makes good evolutionary sense. In its lifetime, a wild male mouse may just get a few shots at sexual reproduction, ratcheting up the advantage of being able to correctly identify a newcomer's sex in short order without having to learn it first. If that ability is innately programmed, even a sexually inexperienced mouse can rapidly discern males from females of its own species. You don't want to be like saved up, like this is it, turn the corner and just like,
like bust a nut all over your bro's back.
Your buddy like, dog,
I'm sorry,
mouse, what the fuck? Fuck.
Fuck, man, I got all fucking hyped up.
Fuck.
I didn't know.
You just stuck up on me. I
was just...
I only had this it. You know that Eminem song. This is it. It's very tough out there.
So, and then what? It doesn't say how the females decipher it?
Is that what it is? They don't quite know how they decipher yet?
Yeah, they don't know what the deal with that is.
So it's saying that males...
I wonder if that's the same for humans.
Well, I think everything we've learned here.
This is the
very
theme.
Similar.
This is the theme.
And the point of why we do this occasionally is to remind ourselves.
So you think that men can? That's why we're like. I was saying like a guy can look and be like, oh, I like there's a female down there.
Well, not
down
if,
that hall.
Not if it's Fousey, with his big old bubble butt.
Yeah, exactly.
On YouTube,
I could fucking accidentally. Yeah.
You never know.
Jump up on Fousey accidentally.
I mean,
changing a tire on his Miata.
Yeah,
and then
if it's a YouTube star with a bubble butt changing a tire in a Miata in a fucking parking lot in Santa Monica.
Isn't that maybe what Fousey's playing off of? Is our mouse instinct that we are like we look for like badonkadonks and are like, okay, that's you got to go have sex with that. Whereas a female maybe is using some other thing.
That's what you're saying is Fousey essentially he's a evolutionary almost psychologist, or is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
is that how you say his name?
I don't know.
That guy. Yeah, we're referencing. I don't even.
People have to have seen it. Right?
There's a guy on YouTube who he's
from LA, right?
I think he's in LA.
Yeah.
Just has a gorgeous fucking
such
bubble
a
butt,
fucking cute butt,
plump fucking peach. And he puts it in like yoga pants.
He bends over in jeggings and shit. Yeah. Like and so bends over in cars and like dudes on like the Venice boardwalk.
Like, I'm gonna get me some of that.
And then he turns around and they fucking spaz out on it. Is his name Fousey?
He's an evolutionary fucking psychologist. When we were mildly laughing at those videos
Kinsey
years ago, we didn't know.
Fousey. It's like
Kinsey Fousey. It's amazing. But we don't know exactly about the females, but we know that the males, somehow it's hardwired because you don't know how many chances, no matter how experienced you are, to procreate.
There's something about that does have some resonance with the kind of in human interactions or gauging of sexuality or a suitable mate or something, that that there is maybe some other, like, there's definitely some deeper math going on with members of the female population versus the male population. Like, the male population has a tendency to be pretty base with a lot of that, like, those instincts. I'm not even saying that the intellectual male mind can't reason itself maybe out of that, but that there is some sort of fundamental, like some type of radar or something that I think we are constantly contending with in our daily lives.
You're saying it's some sort of hardwired,
absolutely
caveman-y type of way.
Yeah, I think there's something there in a like a visual sort of a visual,
like a radar, some sort of
yes, like that's going on, a visual recognition thing that's happening at all times, because like we're doing it with other things that pose possible threats or whatever and stuff like that, and I think that's like human existence. I don't think that's male or female, but there is definitely
you talk simply about procreating, about multiplying,
yeah,
about,
or like that, yeah, that there's like an assessment of, like, because obviously all this stuff is changing, but that we,
you mean socially,
yes, but that we have some sort of, like, some type of, like, prehistoric kind of wiring where there's this there's like an instantaneous sort of, like, assessment of a situation and the people in it and who those people are and what maybe category they fall into, not necessarily as like, yeah, like, I don't know, I feel it happen, okay. I see it happen, and I think that there's definitely something there that you're maybe working against at a certain point, where that you, as like a conscious, considerate human being, maybe doesn't necessarily want to go into situations and have that be the first thing that
starts to happen. So you're saying you walk into a Starbucks, you're assessing the men that you have to kill,
who's getting fucked,
who's getting punched. Jonathan. Now this is not just, this is what you're thinking. This is not to be used in a court of law. You mean this strictly as a biological,
it's a recognition thing
of our humanity,
an involuntary sort of recognition of trying to decipher what's going on in a situation. And I think, again,
so
some of that is
I
don't think that's social programming. I'm saying it's something that precedes that.
It's natural for you to peacock,
and I'm sure
when you walk into a room,
that males or females or any other type of person have versions of that or whatever, but you definitely see I would say, like, an unfettered, unbridled one this. On, like, dudes come in sometimes that are, like, on some straight, like, caveman mode, Who
am I going to fuck up in here?
Who wants to get fucked up? Who wants to get fucked? And who wants to get fucked up?
Yeah, do
I'll take a grande caramel latte.
You put a little extra cream foam on that. Thank you.
Now, back to business.
I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you. All right. Okay. So we're all sort of evolutionary detectives, if you will, investigators. Yeah, dude. America through the eyes of two Americans.
It's probably not as important to have to know, walking down a hallway from 24 feet, whether or not the person that's walking towards you or the thing that's walking towards you is like like something that you could like recreate, procreate with, that you could, you know what I mean? It's when as a female, you get inundated, even in the animal kingdom, by like a million dudes trying to like have sex with you, like at every waking moment, as opposed to a dude who through the course of his life is going to have 3 opportunities to like assess a situation and get his,
screw up a threat assessment from a possible.
I would just say that maybe there's a different thing happening on the female side of that, there isn't that urgency necessarily.
Well, because I think that's probably more their only assessment is a daily assessment of a threat assessment.
Yes.
I don't know if that's
I don't know about
socially,
but I'm talking about in the rodent world. I don't know if it's a threat assessment.
Okay.
I don't know if it's male mice attacking female mice if they don't get to have sex with them.
Okay, or just
But I'm
making
saying
rude
that, but
comments
nonetheless, you've got a million male mice
right.
at all times being like, you want to fuck? You want to fuck? You want to fuck? You want to fuck?
But
You want
when
to fuck?
you said like walking down a hallway, let's say a woman's walking down a hallway at work and she looks up and sees a guy coming. She's got to think like,
the first thing is,
can I make it? Am I going to
is
make
this
it
person-
past this person without him bothering
trying
me?
to, verbally or physically clobbering me with.
Deborah, I said, what's up? No, I heard you. What's up? How are you? Good to see you. See you again. But then I said, what's up? Got her. Oh, man. It's a beautiful kingdom, planet Earth.
Vast.
David Attenborough in
Vast, beautiful kingdom.
Dynasties, I believe is how they pronounce it, some new show. Dynasties on BBC. What, you mean Dynasties?
No.
No. Aluminium and Dynasties. Oh, yeah, dude. America through the eyes of two American Americans. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 702. As we go around, it's the question really, it asks, who are we, is what we have to ask. As we navigate this natural world, Jonathan, that we all share. All of the animals that we've mentioned, we all share this world together. We need to respect,
Yeah.
from our coworkers to the Nubian ibex. Come back for 703 888-842-2357. Toll-free voicemail. You can call that with anything, any comments about anything we're talking about on any episode. And thank you to everybody that's done that. Patreon. Cannot thank you enough if you have taken the time to jump on there and pledge to us. And, if you're on the fence, please do that because it lets us keep doing this show. And we can keep doing it without having to do ads for anything. And which is great.
It also gives you access to the archives of all the episodes, the hundreds of episodes that we've done that aren't available on iTunes, and gives you access to all these episodes that we also film. So you've got multiple ways of watching or listening or viewing, but more than anything, it just keeps us going and keeps us sponsor-free, commercial-free, and going from week to week and making the show available to everyone in some format or another, whether they be pledges or not. So if you can, please do. And
you can also support everyone. Thank you. Anytime you get any merch, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we got new merch. We got merch that's being shipped out. Go to our website, which is filled with ways of contacting us and also useful information and stuff from our past shows. And I mean, Seth's old Seth Corner videos, which there hasn't been, I think, are we done with those? Or will we not see any more volumes of Seth's?
Those are
Seth's
complete.
Corner?
That's now a Smithsonian.
So that's up there. That's in the Smithsonian. You can see that at the Smithsonian, or you could go onto our website and view it. Multiple volumes of Seth's clips. But there's all sorts of stuff there, but also ways of getting in touch with us, ways of buying merch, ways of buying tickets for live shows. LA on 420, Detroit on
622.
622. Please
get tickets
come and
to those
see
shows.
us.
Yes.
Thank you. Just
let us say
tell a
thank
friend,
you in
come back
person.
next week.
Tell a friend, come back for 703. And be careful out there. Now in that fucking natural world.
Threat assessments.
I mean, it's all you know what I mean? We're all out there. Mountain lions and worms and people. We're all doing our best out there. Don't feed the animals. I think that's what we
But build them a wildlife passage, right?
Oh, somebody.
We got to build a lot of those.
Just do that.
Someone's going to come up with like a good working model for that can be like just recreated like all up and down and just like let that happen.
Just you make it goes over. It doesn't affect.
I mean, some of those nights on like a road trip somewhere where you start hitting those runs where it's like, you know, springtime, and it's like, I think on my way up to see my parents in Oregon, I think when I got to their house, I was like, I think I saw like between LA and here, I think I saw like 200 dead deer on the side of the road. I mean, it was like carcass after carcass after carcass. Certain times of year, because of the age of the animals, their able-bodiedness versus their worldly knowledge of like man's like, you know, far-reaching like maniacal claw that you know,
cars used to go like 12 miles an hour.
Yeah, now they're like
barreling.
Now they're like
Ford F-150 going 127
or
on
like
the 5.
a fucking Tesla going like 300 miles an hour and dead silent. So it's just like, you know, like a
hey, you like AI, dear? How's the future? I didn't hear it. No, because you don't understand. We make cars that don't make sounds anymore.
So, but they go mad quick. So anyway, I think
don't feed the animals.
Maybe we could start building those. Who controls that space? I mean, it's going to be, obviously, if there's private land, I mean, you could probably build one if it connected private land to private land. If you got the landowners to agree, all you're passing over is I don't believe the airspace over a freeway is owned by the freeway owners.
Ted Turner,
company.
I'm sure Ted Turner owns the sky.
Maybe there's a way of building it and then going through private land ownership.
Somebody talk to Ted Turner. We'll go from Hobart to Ted Turner's ranch in Montana.
It's a giant. It's really long.
We both agreed. We're signed off on it. Come back for 703.
888-842-2357 is the toll-free voicemail.
Seatbelts.
Seatbelts.